This capstone presentation is given by Lacey Gooch, a student in the EDS Instructional Technology program at Kennesaw State University in the fall of 2015. Within this program, I completed the course EDRS 8900, where I performed a research project titled The Effectiveness of Technology Use in Mathematics on Student Achievement. The two research questions focused on this project were: how does the use of technology in the classroom impact student achievement on summative assessments? And does the use of technology in the classroom impact genders differently? My students within my 5 6th grade advanced math classes were the participants in this research study. I chose technology effectiveness because I've always been a technology advocate and I'm interested in learning whether it truly has an impact on teaching and learning. To perform this study, I separated my classes where 3 classes regularly used technology 2 to 3 times a week and the other 2 classes used no technology at all. The same concepts were taught in all classes. Specifically in this unit, we were focusing on factors, multiples, LCM, GCF, as well as divisibility rules and decimal operations. To dig into my data that I collected, I used Excel to perform t-tests to create bar graphs as well as tables that helped me analyze the data further. Three of the main literary reviews that I used were Edutopia, where I found an article that addressed 4 key components of using technology, and those components were using it for engagement, group work, interaction and feedback, and connections with real-world experts. I also found an article done by Jay Kulik, where he had already performed several computer-based instructions and gathered a lot of data, and he received many positive results. However, he did note at the end of his findings that they were not all positive. It just depended on the subject area. Lastly, I found a personal interview with Jim Shelton done by Kay Varela, where he quoted that students become responsible for their own learning whenever they're using technology in the classroom. As I previously mentioned, some of my methodology were teaching the same concepts to all 5 classes. And then the 3 classes who used technology used it to collaborate, to relate concepts to real life and their interests, and to demonstrate their knowledge of those concepts. So I used things like discussion boards for them to collaborate, or they posted their work on our school's learning management system, It's Learning, and they were able to critique and provide each other with feedback before submitting their final projects to me. Also, they were able to research whatever it is that we were talking about, factors, multiples, decimal stuff, and relate it to things that interested them or that were directly related to real life experiences. And they also performed a technology-based project at the end of the unit as a summative assessment to demonstrate their understanding of all of these concepts. And then the 2 classes who used no technology still participated in collaboration, but it was just face-to-face, not online. And they were made aware of how concepts related to the real world through me and through other discussions that we had. The kids' ideas, we discussed those, but it was limited without the use of technology. And then the data analysis methods that I used, I created bar graphs in Excel that compared the average scores of the 3 technology classes and the 2 no technology classes. I also ran t-tests to further dig into that data to determine whether the difference in their mean scores were significant or not. And I compared that again with technology versus no technology, as well as boys versus girls, to give me data on the difference it may make in the genders. And here's an overview of my analysis. You can see the double bar graph created to compare the technology versus no technology. This was broken down by letter grade, and you can see that there were far more A's with the classes that used technology versus those that did not use technology. And then there were actually no F's for those who used technology, and just a few that didn't use technology, but there was still a pretty big difference between those two classes. And then I also performed t-tests, and even though they're not shown here on the screen, they did reveal that there was a significant difference between the averages of the technology versus no technology classes. And then the bar graph to the right shows just the average breakdown of the technology versus no technology classes, where technology, their average was an 89.8 and the no technology was an 85.3. And again, some more of those results with their two averages and the t-test showing that there was a significant difference. And then the boys versus girls to show the gender difference. The boys had an average of 90, while girls who used technology had an average of 89.6. So those were almost identical, and the t-test revealed that there was no significant difference between the results of genders. So technology does make a difference, or at least it did on this one specific summative assessment that I gave, compared to the classes who use no technology. But as far as gender goes, for this specific assessment, there was really no difference. Technology did not have a greater impact on boys versus girls or vice versa. And then my reflection, like I said, I've always been an advocate of technology. I enjoyed it. I think it's a great way to get students engaged. And like the personal interview said, they take control of their own learning like that. And I was excited to see that my results did show a positive reflection of using technology in the classroom. Some questions that I wanted to consider after I performed this research study was, will this same impact occur in other content areas? And then also, does the way technology is implemented in lessons make more of an impact than just using technology for the sake of using technology? And then I wonder if technology impacts student subgroups differently. Because like I said, I teach all advanced classes, so there were no ESOL or special ed students within this particular study. So I would be curious to see how it may impact other subgroups such as those, rather than just advanced and gifted students. And that concludes this presentation.